because I enjoy it. I have a love for horses. It's a lifelong journey where one can set goals that will sustain you for the foreseeable future. And where I want to get to is a level where I can compete on an international platform, and through that I can gain sponsorships in the process. And the ultimate dream, my big, audacious, badass goal, is to do freestyle dressage, which is where you combine music and you choreograph your own sequences for a test and you're graded on that basis. And that combines my two loves, which is music and horses. And if you know me, you'll know that I love dancing. So freestyle dressage is a great way of dancing on horseback. So horse riding also informs my hairstyles because I always want to make sure that my head fits in the helmet. Black girl problems. Rosie, here's a carrot for you. Pinky's baby daddy. His name is Rosie Rosenberg. He's absolutely gorgeous and beautiful. So here's my baby, the love of my life. Playing smooches with Pinky. So a lot of carrots are consumed on this yard, as you can imagine. Carrots and apples. The ladies here have a preference for Woolworths carrots, not sure why. So Woolworths, if you're listening and you're out there, it would be great if you could sponsor some of your carrots to Kinvara Stud.
Yes, how long have you been doing investment banking? And name the banks. Okay.
So my investment banking career started in 2005. I've always been very clear that when I started my career, I wanted to work for an international investment bank because I wanted work experience overseas. When I finished varsity, I joined JP Morgan on their international graduate program. And subsequent to that, while I was in M&A, I had the opportunity of working for 1 year in London in the consumer retail space. Similar job to what I was doing in Johannesburg, but
What's M&A?
mergers and acquisitions.
Okay.
Mergers and acquisitions advisory, where essentially you're advising corporates when they want to either buy or sell companies, or they're undergoing a strategic review of their business and trying to figure out whether they should list certain assets or dispose of certain assets or acquire certain assets. I worked there up until 2010, at which point I was an associate and joined Goldman Sachs. I was a lateral hire, so also an associate. I spent a few more years at Goldman Sachs from 2010 until 2014, at which point I was a vice president at the time that I left Goldman Sachs, also mergers and acquisitions advisory. I took a bit of a break, a sabbatical during 2014, and then resumed my investment banking career with Standard Chartered Bank at the beginning of 2015 when I joined the leveraged finance team.
Okay, so now tell us a bit about your sabbatical.
Some of my sabbatical, I just did shit. I just spent money.
That's what we want to know. I love that, and I like the way you said it. I like what you just said. I just did shit. Please,
Okay.
tell us about your sabbatical.
My sabbatical was actually a posh way of saying I did nothing. I took a break from a very demanding career. I traveled.
Traveled to where?
I traveled locally within South Africa. I also traveled to France, where I did a trip to Burgundy. I did a trip to Bordeaux. I went to Avignon, and then I spent a few weeks in Nice. And
Alone?
Yes, alone. Absolutely loved it. Would I do it again? In a heartbeat. and that's part of the reason why I'm working hard right now, is so that I can raise enough money.
What's the most landmark transaction you've been involved in?
It would have to be the acquisition of Walmart, of a stake, a controlling stake in Massmart. This was the first transaction that I worked on after joining Goldman Sachs. And what this taught me about investment banking is that the good deals don't play the rules when it comes to public holidays. This transaction, the announcement was made over a public holiday, a long weekend. It was Heritage Day, actually, and we worked right through the weekend. It was a fantastic transaction in the sense that there was an element of an international investor, such as Walmart. I mean, it's a recognizable brand that a lot of people would know, that was wanting to invest in South Africa. And we were advising Massmart at the time. And it was a great transaction, learned a lot, had a lot of interaction with the key management of Massmart. So this is where I spend a lot of my time. It's essentially my home away from home. If I'm not at home and I'm not at work, chances are this is where I'll be.
What has been most fulfilling about your journey being a woman in investment banking?
I think it's knowing that you, as a woman working in a male-dominated sector or role, that being a woman doesn't take away from your ability to deliver and your ability to bring it. Mm-hmm. If I look at the women that I've come across in my career, specifically within investment banking, there are a few, but they all exhibit strength, resilience, and intelligence, not just on a technical perspective, but also an emotional intelligence where they're able to get the best out of the people that they work with, and they're able to get the best out of their clients. Just because I think women tend to be more connected and more aware of emotions. They're better able to read people and situations. And I found that in order to do well in my role and not take criticism too badly, I had to be part banker and part psychologist.
Oh. If you could give your young self advice, what would it be?
Is to be confident at all times and to back myself a lot more than what I did.
What has informed your passion for the empowerment of young women?
It's the realization that without the efforts of those who have gone before me, having given me an opportunity to initially study at university through a bursary program, and also opportunities that I've had by way of being a participant in internships while I was at university, being given a chance to experience or participate in roles like that, where people would groom me in my inexperienced level. If that had not been bestowed upon me, I probably would not have gone the route that I went, and I probably would not have achieved as much as I have achieved. So it's understanding that you have to pass it on.
Give back.
Give back, and not just to young women, but to young talented people who are about working hard and making a better life for themselves.
What has been your greatest challenge in banking?
Directing people's focus away from my gender and redirecting them towards my work, the quality of my work, and what I deliver, regardless of being a female.
How did you overcome this challenge?
Through just delivering good work, preparing a lot for the kind of work that I was doing, and learning to gain the trust and confidence of my colleagues and also clients.
How do you balance your personal life, private life, and your work life? What is the key to that?
A great analogy here is, I remember somebody saying, with everything that you do in your life, think of it as either a glass ball or a rubber ball. If you drop a rubber ball, it bounces back, doesn't break. If you drop a glass ball, it shatters, and you can never get it back into its original form. So the key thing is to ask yourself, what is rubber in your life and what is glass? Over time, I've learned that family relationships, romantic relationships as well, and things that keep you alive and remind you why you are glad to be alive, those are all glass balls.
Glass balls. And you nurture
Rubber
them.
balls, things like work. If you lose your job tomorrow, you can always get another job. Unfortunately, if you lose someone close to you in your life, you can never replace that person. And that's how I bring perspective and priorities to the things that I do in my life and the things that I spend my time doing.
This is definitely coming in. I just hope the sound is just as good. Hey!
Hey, yo man, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's
Lovely.
up? We're freaky sisters.
Keeping it real.
Come pausing behind her.
Stop it, Pinky. You're being rude.
Hello, Pinky. How are you?
Yeah, just hold it like this so she doesn't
Oh my
hurt your
God.
fingers. Your feet are awesome.
Let's try.
Hi, my dearest guy.
You have to hold it here at the end because
Thanks.